Good day to you, Professor. Welcome to our team's presentation on strategic auditing and change proposal for our selected company, ComfortDelGro. ComfortDelGro Corporation was formed in March 2003 with the merger of Comfort and Delgro. The current CEO, Kwah Hong Pak, was appointed at the same time as the merger and has guided the group to international expansion. CDG has exposure to the regions as far as the UK, as well as Australia, Vietnam, and of course China. Within Singapore, CDG is composed of 8 business segments that are focused on land transport services. These various businesses provide synergies that are realized through advantageous economies of scope. In our presentation, we will zoom in on their taxi division and how it should react to threats such as Grab Taxi and Uber. We will discuss the complacent nature of the organization and necessary changes in leadership and strategy. In Singapore, the taxi business unit is providing vertically integrated services to both the taxi drivers and consumers. These services include taxi bookings, taxi rentals, vehicle inspections, automotive engineering, vehicle advertising, etc. This certainly limits the risks in various different areas. However, some of these areas are overlapping and closely correlated to each other, posing a considerable strategic risk to the business model if one or more services were to be lost to competitors. For instance, the booking fees by Grab Taxi and the taxi rentals by Grab Car, which are both the main revenue streams of ComfortDelGro. In Singapore, ComfortDelGro has relied too much on its market dominance. It was leading the much smaller competitors by a large margin, and this in turn caused stagnation in upgrading and improving its services. It delayed improvements in IT and infrastructure, as it had been using proprietary electronic systems that were developed in the early 2000s, running on Windows CE. The electronic systems were developed by ST Electronics. The outright switch to different methods of booking and using generic IT systems instead would have resulted in sunken costs for these systems. To analyze the industry ComfortDelGro's taxi division is operating in and how attractive the market is in which it operates, Porter's 5 Forces framework provides the critical insights and exposes the opportunities and threats. Number 1. Threat of new entrants. Ever since 2003, when the Singapore government further liberalized the market to allow the entry of new companies to encourage further competition in the industry to the benefit of commuters, the threat of new entrants became high. The disruptive business model of Uber and Grab Taxi does not require high upfront capital. Number 2. Threat of substitutes. Private vehicles used for soliciting customers that use the Uber or Grab Taxi app as a platform to interface between them and the customers, as well as Grab Car, simulating private drivers to rent their cars as a taxi. Number 3. Bargaining power of the customers can be considered high due to multiple conventional competitors. The arrival of Uber and Grab Car, as well as private vehicles, have strongly increased the bargaining power of customers, especially when these third-party apps have not yet been regulated by the government. Number 4. Bargaining power of suppliers is quite low as car manufacturers don't have much power of their customers due to ample choice. The booking system from which ComfortDelGro gets a revenue stream is a proprietary system owned and managed by ComfortDelGro. Number 5. Intensity of rivalry is as of current quite low, with taxi fares being maintained at roughly the same levels as other competitors. However, with the emergence of private individuals and initiatives such as Grab Car and similar models, the competitiveness is expected to increase rapidly. Now that the industry and taxi market in which ComfortDelGro is operating in has been analyzed, we now can zoom into the company's characteristics by means of a SWOT analysis. The major strength of ComfortDelGro lies with its vertically integrated taxi business, with the largest taxi fleet in Singapore, in taxi technology, infrastructure, as well as its brand names being Comfort and CityCab. Its strength also lies with the employee benefits for its taxi drivers. On the other hand, ComfortDelGro is weak in agility and adaptability to disruptive market changes. It is also weak in deciding to let go of obsolete and outdated booking systems that have long served their purpose well, but is no longer viable since the emergence of comprehensive smartphone apps having the same functionality with an improved user interface. For ComfortDelGro, opportunities are available but require decisive and profound changes in leadership and the business model. Its sheer size of the taxi fleet, large infrastructure, provides opportunities to successfully compete with other competitors. For instance, Grab Taxi relies very much on the booking fee. When this booking fee is suspended, there are no longer incentives for Grab Taxi to continue, whereas ComfortDelGro still profits from taxi rentals. Ironically, the competition between Uber and Grab Taxi in the car rental market will drive up the prices for rental cars, benefiting ComfortDelGro, which may even lower their own taxi rentals in order to push both Uber and Grab Taxi out of the market. Undoubtedly, the threat of Uber and Grab Taxi are real, here and now. These threats are very serious and are required to be acted upon swiftly and decisively. The very existence of ComfortDelGro is at stake. The threats here are coming from independent private drivers, Grab car drivers who are acting as private taxis, Grab car renting out cars to increase revenue and vertical integration, and Uber taxis competing with Grab car, and of course not to forget any other taxi company in Singapore, potentially driving down profit margins. Hailing taxis during peak hours remained a challenge despite LTA imposing the taxi availability standards that requires at least 80% of all taxis to plow the streets. Taxis are still playing the vanishing act in hopes to earn a higher starting fare from the booking surcharge. These issues encourage more competition from the private market to resolve the supply and demand problem of Singapore taxi industry. Prevailing third-party taxi booking apps like Grab Taxi and Uber has gained popularity with commuters to adopt their service. Last but not least, the dated mobile data terminals currently installed in taxis and the inefficient booking dispatch systems are also contributing to the list of problems. Grab Taxi and Uber are the two most prevailing third-party taxi booking mobile apps in Singapore now. The fundamental purposes of these apps are to improve the pre-existing shortage of available taxis during peak hours and at remote locations. For example, Grab Taxi offers a more efficient service to commuters looking for a taxi by constantly connecting with a large pool of registered taxi drivers from all taxi companies and dispatching them accordingly. Such services from Grab Taxi and Uber had proven to be a faster, easier and cheaper alternative to both taxi drivers and commuters. Existing drivers can potentially earn a higher income by registering with Grab Taxi for more jobs than what its parent company can offer, and potential drivers can enjoy cheaper car rentals to start an independent taxi career. All or most taxis in Singapore are fitted with the in-car mobile data terminals, or MDTs, to connect wirelessly to its parent company's dispatch system. Bookings made by commuters are organized and assigned to nearby available taxis according to closest distances. However, due to the older MDTs and slower GPRS network technology, taxi drivers are not receiving enough booking jobs to serve the daily demand. The booking dispatch servers and call centers are also often congested due to its limited voice radio channels. As a result, more than often, commuters have difficulty to even call into the booking hotlines to attempt the taxi booking during peak hours. The CEO had done a great job with the group's international expansion. As he was also sitting on several boards of other companies, not much attention may have been placed on the domestic taxi division. Though they had made some improvements in the booking system, they are at risk of celebrating their success too early, as clearly lots more work needs to be done to counter the new emerging threats. The board could reiterate the importance of the taxi division to the group and set up a task force to come up with more plans to deal with the situation. Strategically, the solutions derived to alleviate the issues in Singapore could be implemented globally to address similar competitors in other regions. Singapore has a strict legal system that governs the taxi transportation system. What CDG can do is to use the legal aspect as a weapon to stunt the growth of their competitors so as to buy time to make substantial improvements. Their legal experts should follow up with the Land Transport Authority, or LTA, on the proposal for third-party applications like Grab Taxi and Uber to be treated like a taxi company, and thus be bounded by some of the rules that CDG are also subjected to. Two very important things to note here are the taxi vocational licenses and insurances. The taxi vocational license scheme will help to do some background screening on the drivers to ensure a safer ride, which has been a major issue in other parts of the world like India, where Uber failed to screen their drivers properly. Likewise, all vehicles on the road should have proper insurance packages so that everyone can be adequately covered in an unfortunate event of an accident. The main strategies include the following. Firstly, a unified booking app where they could team up with Transcab or SMRT to enlarge the pool of available taxis that the app can locate and book. Secondly, marketing of their existing corporate charge card to have a steadier stream of business commuters who have to take CDG's cabs for their business-related travels. Next, they could work with other public transport providers to lobby for the waiver of the ERP. In this way, Uber and GrabCar may be forced to absorb the ERP on their private car fleet in order to stay competitive. Being the market leader, they can afford to use the sumo strategy and go head-to-head. They could first remove the booking fee on their cabs, removing the primary revenue model of Grab Taxi. And next, they could also make their taxi rentals to be on par with the private car rental rates of Uber and GrabCar. Although CDG's competitors are more nimble, CDG can be like an elephant that knows how to dance. After all, the key here is not whether elephants will win the ants. It is about whether a particular elephant can dance. If it can, the ants will have to leave the dance floor to avoid being trampled on. In order to ensure market dominance and sustainability of the ComfortDelGro Corporation or CDG in the long run, it is necessary for CDG to keep up to date with the demands for accessibility and functionality of its electronic booking system. We would like to propose the following technological solutions. Firstly, CDG should take a preemptive approach with data analytics and utilize behavior analysis to make efficient use of its current booking and taxi tracking system. This would help CDG maintain and optimize the service of network, resulting in a more efficient process where the system can predict potential hotspots where high volumes of taxis are required, giving greater assurance to clients in need of taxi services. Next, a docking station for taxi drivers' mobile devices to integrate taxi bookings via mobile apps and the service centers on their MDTs will also enable synchronization of the taxi driver's booking schedule with the MDTs while they're on shifts. This data will also serve towards the application algorithm to track rail values for available taxis in the area and for CDG to make necessary adjustments for improvement of service to clients through measurement of taxi availability and utilization. Finally, CDG should implement through their application a cashless transaction through client registration on the application. The cashless payment from the time of booking to the end of journey will reduce the hassle from both taxi, driver and the passenger upon completion of the journey, where the operational efficiency will be increased and the customer experience is further enhanced. Apart from operational efficiency of the current systems, CDG should also focus on providing the right customer experience for its taxi patrons. Living in a fast-paced environment, People feel the need to utilize every ounce of their time to stay connected, be it in the checking of emails, getting updates and updating their social media, or even catching their favorite series online. Enhancing the customer experience by provision of Wi-Fi, downloadable content, and entertainment that is connected through Bluetooth to their mobile devices will make CDG stand out amongst its industry competitors. Likewise, CDG can also make use of this platform to diversify its revenue streams through marketing and advertising space by various media sources. This platform will also provide tourists a quick overview of the main attractions in Singapore in their preferred language. Thank you. We've come to the end of our presentation. We hope you have enjoyed it.